Hello, I greet you and welcome you back to another presentation in relation to the war that Israel was dragged into on October 7, 2023. I want to focus on two agencies that are supposed to be those that would have ensured that nothing like October 7th and October 8th and that carried on ever happened. So I'm looking at those things that have been agencies, so-called agencies that have been abbreviated as UNRWA and UNIFIL. So UNRWA is short for United Nations Relief and War Agency. Both of these two, as you can tell from the abbreviation UNRWA and, well, UNRWA and UNIFIL, they have UN at the beginning because they are babies of the United Nations, which is the global sort of police that's supposed to maintain and monitor the peace and tranquility in the world. But I will say here that they are gross failures. They have failed woefully, and I don't think there's any purpose for that body anymore, especially these two that I'm going to be touching right now. So the UNRWA one is a specific body that's just dedicated to that place, Gaza, and, well, that they refer to as Palestine. So it is just, so the Universal United Nation for the rest of the world, there's another body. Let me show you something before I carry on with this, because this is important to let people see. So let me show you this before we carry on. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the two various bodies. So this, the one that's UNRWA and the United Nations Humanitarian, whatever, CER, I haven't checked what those are for, because they're probably useless. So UNRWA specifically for Palestine, so-called Palestinian refugees, and then the other one, excuse me, is for the rest of the world. So there are 5.4 million refugees in Gaza, 70.8 million elsewhere in the world, 1.19 billion, which means $220 per refugee. So if you look at this, 8.6 billion, 121 per refugee on the other side. The number of countries and territories that they operate in, UNRWA only 5. The other one, UNHCR, 134 countries or territories. Staff, UNRWA has 30,000, one staff per 180 refugees, and the rest of the world has one staff per 4,213 refugees. The status granted citizenship in other countries. So in Gaza, they're still registered as refugees. They remain eternal refugees. Status never change. In the other areas of the world, the status ends when they get into third countries, other countries in the world. So the result in Gaza, they are perpetual refugees, status for generations, which just recycles endless conflict in that territory. Excuse me. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world, this status ends. So, what am I trying to point out here? UNRWA was a body that was specifically founded that is in charge of providing education, healthcare, aids to the millions of people in Gaza, the West, Judea and Samaria, which the world has tagged West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, but they're mostly in Gaza, in charge of education. Go to X, former Twitter, to find out what children are taught under UNRWA schools. These people have been there since 1948 or 1949, but it's absolutely useless. They have continued to teach children hatred, to perpetuate the refugee status. It's shocking to think that the world has kept silent. Why do we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more generations of people who are refugees? Why? Why is this the case? How come refugee status never ends for people from Gaza and Judea and Samaria? Why? They keep shouting and crying about starvation. Israel is blocking, but UNRWA is there. They're supposed to be in charge, but where do the food and supplies end up? With Hamas. Under the watchful eyes of UNRWA, Hamas built terror tunnels, littered the underground of Gaza with tunnels that were not meant for the people. When they knew their plans, they were going to poke the honest nest in Israel. Those tunnels were not built to safeguard their people after. But they went to do those things they did on October 7th, and they ran into the tunnels, which was one of the areas that the Sinwar guy hid himself before he was taken out by Israel. UNRWA is absolutely useless. This was why it was music to my ears when I heard that lawmakers in Israel have decided to ban and throw out the worthless organization from Israel and to limit its activities in Gaza and Judea and Samaria. They will no longer work there. The world has fed them billions for decades. Where is the result? They have only created more monsters who are just hungry for the blood of people. What is this? Why is that agency not accountable to something? There should be results. There should be results. So nobody should tell me about the fact that it's an agency that was working. Many of those agency people, workers, took part in October 7th when terrorist Hamas invaded a peaceful democracy, Israel, and carried out all the atrocious things. There's evidence. UNRWA workers took part in the slaughter, the massacre carried out against Israel. What about the other agency that called itself UNIFIL? Let me share this as well, because UNIFIL is another agency, excuse me, that is present in Gaza. Let me share this. Doesn't want to go. Okay, so this is, it says UNIFIL. So UNIFIL, United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, another worthless agency, specifically created to be in Lebanon. It was created 1978, 46 years ago. They're supposed to be peacekeeping force, people from various nations of the world to protect unauthorized people such as Hezbollah. Such brave peacekeepers. Under their nose, Hezbollah had fired. Let me forget about the past. From October 8th, when Hamas terrorists invaded Israel, Hezbollah started firing whatever could be fired into Israel for over a year. Where was the peacekeeping thugs? Tunnels were built. Firing posts were just within earshots and eyeshots of their towers. Peacekeepers, indeed. Since it looks like all these bodies, these agencies had been hijacked and are directly working for terrorists, there is no need for them any longer. Why should Israel allow them to continue? People in the West Bank, part of the West Bank, northern Gaza, somewhere close, Israelis have been evacuated from their homes because of the rockets, the missiles, drones that have been fired into those places continuously. They have passed their sell-by date, no longer fit for purpose. So I am so glad when I heard that Israel had decided they're not going to have UNRWA in Israel any longer. Brilliant move. And the world should step aside and sit down and shut up. Yes, step aside, sit down, shut up. Because the world kept silent when these bodies got weapons, prepared themselves, and began to strike against Israel. So Israel is doing what it needs to do now to protect itself. For those who do not know, go educate yourself. If you don't know where to start, go look up HamasMassacre.net. Go look at the various, not the BBC, Sky, CNN, and all those legacy corrupt media. Go look at proper that would give you the news. Check them, search on Telegram. You would get real news. Hamas terrorists posted things themselves. Those channels as well, the Middle Eastern channels, they've posted things as well. Go get the truth. One thing that gladdens my heart is that a lot of people I know who used to dance with the terrorists on behalf of the terrorists, pretending that it's free Palestine, but they were actually supporting terrorists. I do not care who you are. If you were one of those, or you're still one of those dancing on the street, shouting that stupid slogan, you are a terrorist supporter, and I regard you as a terrorist yourself because you are a liar. I thank God that majority of the people I know are changing their minds as the truth is beginning to seep out. The dust is settling. We're seeing the monsters that orchestrated and actively took part on October 7, 2023. Never again. I thank God for Israel that's capable of defending herself. I'll see you again soon.